Hello, everybody. This is Cameron Hand coming at you with the Week 6 Fantasy Recap video. I've tried to record this thing a few times, and my computer's been struggling, so we will see. It seems like I'm going to have better luck this time. I personally blame Doug because I'm using an Apple product, and it's just not up to stuff. It's just not cutting it. So, anyway, here we go. I'm gonna kind of fly through this stuff because the first half, at least, because I've recorded like 3 times. It's really annoying. But I want to give a few shout outs to Bobby Saturday for coming into town, really showing his support for the league, hanging out, doing all that stuff. Shout out to Bobby. Also want to throw a shout out to Bob Saturday, a senior, because I know he's watching this. Hey, Bob. I want to throw a shout out for Alec because he came to soccer, I think, 2 weeks in a row. And I also just liked his game out there. He really D'd up in soccer. He played with some real heart out there, some real passion, so I respect it. And then I got a shout out for Ash because he showed up. People were talking. They're like, "Oh, Ash isn't around. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do this, that." He silenced the haters. He came. He watched some football. He went to Summit. So shout out to Ash for that. Let's go. Worst matchup was Converse Bobby. Low scoring. Bobby didn't even really complain about the fact that he put up sub 100 points. He just kind of took it, and it was just kind of lame. All in all, just not a great matchup. Best matchup: Alec versus Will. Close score came down to the end. And Will put an end to Alex's reign of mediocrity. Alex cranked off a couple wins with some crappy scores, and finally that ended with Will having that dog in him and putting Alec down. So that was great. Worst injury luck. A lot of people had bad injury luck this week, but I'm going to give it to Ash because of the McCaffrey injury, the Fields injury. Also, he was out Tank Dell and Dalton Kincaid, so you got a few injuries there, but really losing McCaffrey and Fields for an extended period of time is rough. So Ash wins worst injury luck. I'm going to give Ash most unlucky because he was in a winnable matchup. If Fields and McCaffrey produced, he probably would have won. Maybe if he could have played Tank Dell, he could have won too. It was a winnable week. He also played against somebody with a 17-point kicker, which is always pretty unlucky if that happens to you. You have Khan the luckiest. He won with 106 points. What more to say there? Dumbest move is Alec. He started Logan Thomas in his flex. I just kind of wanted to use this time to really point out the fact that Alec always starts 2 tight ends, which is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So I think that is fair. Dumb move starting Logan Thomas, refusing to start. Not really more refusing to not start 2 tight ends is it's pretty ridiculous. Smartest move, I'm going to give Logan to playing Zach Moss still. A lot of people would have taken Zach Moss out because of Jonathan Taylor's ramp up. Logan kept him in, and Zach Moss produced. So that's great. Best free agent move, we're going to go to Greg for picking up Josh Downs. Josh Downs has been good, especially with Gardner Minshew. So good free agent pickup for Greg. We're going to give most annoying player to Logan. I'll get a little bit more into this all in dabs, but Logan was complaining a ton about dabs. He's complaining about him getting dabs. He's complaining about me not getting dabs. He went to some race called Petit Le Mans. I'm just gonna say lemon, and he was kind of trash talking me, like, dude, you don't know what Petit Lemon is, like. You don't know that, and then he put in that poll, and nobody else knew what it was because obviously, who the heck would know what that is? He also got mad because I put him low for raising a child. He was also talking a good bit about John Mayer this week because he likes John Mayer. He doesn't think Ayuk's that guy, which is annoying and just straight up ignorant. And he also left Summits without saying goodbye. So, stock falling is Hunter. 2 losses in a row, and the first loss or last week's loss was sub 100. This week he barely had 100, so stock is dropping on Hunter right now. It is what it is. Stock rising is me. 3 wins in a row. I got Cup looking strong once he came back. I got Mostert's looking strong without A-Chain. So I think it's safe to say my stock is currently rising. Best player is me this week. I had the most points scored. I picked up the Chiefs defense, which was a good pickup. Got me, I think, 12 points or something like that. So that was nice. But really, mostly I had 164, so that's my points. Going to give myself best player. Next, we got Bobby for worst player. He had sub 100. He wasn't the only person with sub 100, but he was the only person sub 100 without injuries. So yeah, Bobby, pitiful week. I'm gonna say I had that dog. I'm gonna give myself the first dog of my season. I put up my third win, highest points. My team's looking strong. Just slap Logan, broke his spirits, hung out the whole day. Just bam, kind of was trash talking a little bit. Kind of, I was wearing my feelings on my sleeves, my heart on my sleeve. And yeah, I really think I had that dog. I really think I just came in, did my job, put Logan in his place, and was out of there. Quick and dirty. Bam, just took him out. So dog. Me, these are the rankings. Connor stays at 1. Greg moves from 2 to 5. So that is what it is. Dylan, moves up. He had a good week. We then got Hunter moving down from 4 to 7. We now have Sam going from 10 to 3. I think Sam's looking good. Me going from 6 to 4. You can see Doug from 7 to 6. Bobby shoots down from 8 to 10. Ash stays the same. Will moves up a little bit after a pretty decent week. And then Alex and Logan are the consensus bottom 2 at the moment. Next week's worst matchup is Alec versus Ash. They're both 2 and 4. Neither are super interesting teams. I do predict Ash will win. And Ash called me out because every time I say he wins, he loses. So, it is what it is. I don't really know what to tell you there, but I'm just going to keep predicting it. I would say me and Connor next week's best matchup. This is a huge matchup. 2 top dogs. He's first. I'm third, I believe. I'm coming off a 3-win streak. He's coming off a 4-win streak. Whoever wins this will probably have the 1 seed, or if I win, I might have the 2 seed. But I predict Connor will win. Connor's team's a tank. I'm on a 3-win streak. That's probably about as good as I can ask for, so I'm okay with dropping it if I must. But yeah, so that's a good matchup though. That's something to watch for sure. All right, season segments. We got dabs here, people. So let's go through it. Logan for wearing a beanie playing pickleball. 1 dab. So I just want to say it's been brought to my attention that I give a little bit too many dabs. I was doing like hundreds of dabs as opposed to more realistic numbers. So the dabflation has been pretty high. I'm bringing it down. I'm printing less dabs, going back to my roots, just doing 1 to like 10 dabs. And yeah, so just keep your eye out for that. So Logan with 1 dab for wearing a beanie at pickleball. Logan prides himself as being a big cold guy. He gets out there to play pickleball. He's just like, oh, it's a little chilly. Goes and gets a beanie. I mean, come on, that's dabs. Logan for thinking everyone knew what Petite Lemon is. 3 dabs. Again, it is a race in Georgia, like a car race. And he's like, well, everyone knows what that is because I know. I'm like, Logan, like your dad has worked for like Chevy and now works for like Mazda or something for like my whole, like for like 30 years. Like your dad is in the car scene. Like obviously your dad's going to know about that since he's in the car scene and you're in the car scene, kind of more than any of us based on your dad. And he was like, no, like my dad doesn't know that stuff. I'm like, clearly he does. But 3 dabs because he, oh yeah. And then Logan, this goes along with it. Logan for putting up a poll that instantly roasted himself because I was like, dude, there's no way anyone in the league knows what that is. He was like, yeah, puts a poll in there. And then like instantly 8 people say they don't know what it is. Throughout the week, Logan was getting very frustrated with me for not giving myself dabs. So I'm going to give him 5 dabs for that. Total, he just can't handle the fact that I'm not going to generally not give myself dabs because I'm making these videos. I don't really feel like giving myself dabs. And also, like, if I'm not going to get into why I don't generally give myself dabs, but it just doesn't happen for a few reasons. But Logan was getting very, very upset about it. So I'm giving him 5 dabs for that. Logan for thinking Ayuk isn't that guy. That's really more copium than dabs, but I'm going to give him 2 dabs for that. Ayuk is clearly that guy. And he's not injury prone like Debo. He's Purdy's favorite target. He's sick if you actually watch him play. Ayuk's that guy, and it's just ignorance for Logan to think he isn't that guy. So 2 dabs. Logan for liking John Mayer, 2 dabs. If I'm going to give Ash dabs for liking Chelsea Cutler, I got to give Logan dabs for liking John Mayer. I don't think probably anyone in the league likes John Mayer besides Logan. Logan for constantly getting Freya and Chloe mixed up, 4 dabs. Freya and Chloe are Hunter's 2 dogs. Yes, they're the same color, but they look very different. Chloe's got long ears and is shorter, whereas Freya is a little taller and more young looking, skinny, and has short ears. Not to mention, Chloe wears a shirt all the time. Like, Chloe has like a onesie on, and Logan multiple times. Chloe or Freya would come up to him and be like, hey, Chloe," and I was like, "Dude, that's Freya," or like, or vice versa. Anyway, it was dabs. He just kept getting Freya and Chloe mixed up, which is 4 dabs. I mean, come on. Logan for leaving Summits without saying goodbye, 1 dab. I went to the bathroom, came back, he was gone. Will for backing his Chuba Hubbard play last week. I gave Will dabs for playing Chuba Hubbard last week when Miles Sanders was still playing, and then this week he was big. No, it was actually a good play. It wasn't a good play. Chuba Hubbard had like 3 points. It was ridiculous. And at the time, like last week, I was like, dude, did you play Chuba Hubbard? And he was like, yeah, I forgot to take him out. And then he was like mad at himself for playing Chuba Hubbard like last week. And now all of a sudden he's backing up the Chuba Hubbard play. It's just dabs. And whenever he said that, he just ripped 1 dab, came back, said it. It is what it is. Will has been questioning my dabs a lot lately, 2 dabs. So if you question, you get more dabs, Will. Let that be a warning. Doug for criticizing me for riding Connor when he literally said Will handed him the championship, 2 dabs. Bobby originally texted me and said on my last video I was riding Connor too hard. And then Doug basically texted me and was like, yeah, you're riding Connor too hard. Is basically what he's saying. So I was riding Connor, and I was like, dude, like, you were the one who said that his team was so good, we might as well stop playing because his team's so good. So anyway, Doug's the one that thinks Khan's team is ridiculous, not so much me. 2 dabs like the pot calling the kettle black. Doug for not knowing redacted was a word. 1 dab, not going to go into that. Dylan for taking a deep dive into fantasy in week 5, 3 dabs when we were watching the game on Thursday night. Dylan was like, yeah, so like I finally like took a look at my team and it's like it's okay. And we're like, dude, it's week 5. Like, you haven't looked at your team yet? Like, what the heck? 3 dabs. Dylan said he has no stars in fantasy when he like has one of the best teams. He has Kelsey. Adam Thielen is basically a fantasy star right now. He's got a really good team. He's got DeAndre Swift, really good in fantasy. 3 dabs for Dylan. But it's like Dylan's like, oh yeah, week 5. He's like, oh, I just looked at my team. It's pretty good. And we're like, yeah, I mean, I would hope you're 5 weeks in. Ashton for preferring Dynasty over redraft when he is tanking in Dynasty. 1 dab. I don't really get that. He prefers Dynasty, even though his Dynasty team is, tanking. Ashton for making me touch his hat, which caused me to knock down my drink. 2 dabs. For those of you who weren't there, Ashton was like, oh, touch my hat, Cameron. It feels really cool. I touched his hat, moved my elbow back, and knocked over my drink, spilling water everywhere. Ashton for not having listened to the Chelsea Cutler album yet. Chelsea Cutler, I think a week or 2 ago, came out with a new album, and he hadn't listened to it yet. 1 dab. It's like, commit. Ash, you're like one of the biggest Chelsea Cutler guys in the world. It's like, you got to be in or out. You gotta listen to that thing at 12:01 if you're really that big of a Chelsea Cutler fan, which I think you are. So I'm giving him a dab for that. Connor for talking to himself in the chat. 2 dabs. Connor always on Sundays, we're all zoned into the games, and Connor, he's zoned into, but he's always typing in there like, oh, like I missed my bet, and like no one responds or anything. Anyways, just kind of talking to himself in the chat, which I find funny. So that's 2 dabs. Bobby for not complaining about the fact he was getting smoked. 3 dabs. Bobby, I was with him all day. And then at the end of the day, I was like, oh my gosh, Bobby didn't even put up 100 points. And I didn't even hear him say anything about it once. It's like, who has Zab out of fantasy week and doesn't complain about it? 3 dabs. Greg for not being ready for the grav. 2 dabs. I'm not going to go into that, but I will say someone in this league told me to add that in. Greg was in the basement, I believe, and he wasn't ready for the graph. So 2 dabs. Hunter for not playing foosball. 3 dabs. Not going to go and do it again. I'm very, very, very upset at Hunter for that. Cameron for getting 2 gutter balls when I bet that I would get a strike or spare. Went bowling. I was like, hey, like if I don't get a strike here, I'll give myself dabs. I gutter balled it, and then I said double or nothing. I said if I don't get a spare here, I'll give myself dabs, and I gutter balled again. So that's 5 dabs. That was rough. And then I used a little dragon, little push thing for bowling. I still got a gutter ball, so that was rough. But Logan wins with 20 dabs overall for the beanie. For thinking everyone knew what Petite Lemon was, for him roasting himself, getting mad about me not getting dabs, Logan for thinking Ayuk's not got that guy. The Freya and Chloe thing, that was big. But anyway, so Logan's the winner. Here we go. I got my first dog. Logan has had the most dabs 3 weeks in a row, or not 3 weeks in a row, 3 total weeks. Alec twice, Will once. So, Logan's going for that dab title, no doubt about it. Where I was wrong, I thought Alec wouldn't show up to the soccer game, and he did. So I already gave him props for that. So that was cool. I'm gonna say Logan beats Bobby in an absolute must win. Logan is 1-4 or one. No, he's 1-5. Absolute must win for Logan. I think he rises to the occasion. I think Bobby's on the downturn. I can't do TikToks anymore. But all right, let's go to random rankings. There's some complicated ones here, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of explaining. But we will do it. So this one coming up, I was watching The League, which is a fantasy football show. It's like a TV show. It's like a comedy with like Nick Kroll and whatnot. Anyway, Nick Kroll's character, he's like in a coma or he's a stroke, and they like read his will, and they're like mid-season. So, you know what's crazy is I didn't fill this out. We're gonna have to ignore this. Wait, did I? Yeah, no, this is right. This is right. Yeah. So anyway, so if I fell into a coma or I died and someone had to finish out the season for me, this is who I would trust to run my team. Okay. Will, number one. So if I go in coma, Will to run my team. Greg, number 2. I'd let Greg run my team. Bobby, this is wrong. I didn't fill this out. This is ridiculous. All right, I'm going to fill this out right now. All right. If I die, I want Connor to run my team. Connor's really proved a lot to me here. And then I'd probably say I would take. Probably have Will run my team after that. Wait, who was there? That. Hold on, guys. Sorry about this. Greg. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna do Will there. I'm gonna put Greg here. I'm gonna put Bobby. Sam's low because Sam. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have Doug over Hunter to run my team. But Sam wouldn't care. Sam can't even manage his own team. So I'm gonna have Ash next to run my team when I pass. And I'm gonna have Sam there. Hunter definitely over Bobby and Dylan. Oh wait, who was there? It was Bobby. Okay, so Hunter. It's over for Bobby. And I think that's where I would land with it. Sorry for that. But yeah, okay. So if I pass and use this as my will, Connor, Will, Greg, Doug, Ash, Hunter, Dylan, Bobby, Logan, and then Sam, because he doesn't, Sam doesn't even run his own team, and then Alec would just throw. Um, so I feel pretty comfortable with that. All right, so we got racism rankings here. Not for me. This is Tracy, my coworker. I sent her, again, different pictures of everybody, and she just looked at the pictures and said, "Who looks the most racist?" 1 out of 10. So we got Will with this picture looking like a 10 out of 10 in racism, which I can't disagree. Then we got Doug. I don't have Doug's picture up here. It's just a regular old picture of Doug. 8 out of 10. Doug's looking pretty racist. Greg's looking very racist. 8 out of 10. Hunter, it was the picture of Hunter holding the fish. 8 out of 10 in racism. Logan, it was just a regular picture. 7 out of 10. Alec, 7 out of 10. Ash right here is looking like a 7 out of 10 in racism. Bobby, 6 out of 10. Sam, 5 out of 10. Dylan, shockingly, doesn't look racist at all in that picture. And then Connor, and just a normal picture of Connor. So this is how racist you guys look based off of the pictures. And to be fair, you guys are all looking mighty racist. I mean, Will has got that handlebar mustache and the mullet. That's not a great look for Will in terms of not looking racist. Good, not a bad look in general. But next up, we have Preston, I'm pretty sure Leah did it, but Preston and Leah, who have a child. So I think it's nice to get their perspective. They said, I asked them, I was like, who would you like the most if, let's say, your daughter's 18 and they walk in, they're like, hey, this my name, or hey, mom, hey, dad, this is Greg, the guy I've been dating for 3 weeks. Like, who basically gives off the best first impression as a boyfriend for your daughter? So does that make sense? So that's what we're working with here. Who he thinks gives off, like, if his daughter brought this person into their home, was like, I'm dating this person, where would you rank them? So anyway, hope that makes sense. We got Dylan. I guess Dylan makes a good impression off the bat. We got Ashton. Not surprising. Ash probably makes pretty good impression. He's tall. Hunter, number 3 and so this isn't terribly accurate. This isn't who you'd want to date your daughter. That's not what Preston was doing. It was just based off of like, hey, like my daughter just brings someone home. How much do I like them? It's not. He said specifically, we're not taking into account what we know about these people. It's just who would give off the good impression. So Doug, 4, I was 5. And then they asked me to put this line here because that's really where it's like, no. Like, so I think these top 5, they'd be like, oh, yeah, like good impression, not bad. Oh, hi, I'm Cameron. Oh, okay, he seems all right. Now, Greg, Bobby, Will, and Logan are a tie, I guess, for not very good. And then Connor, Alec, and Sam, they'd be like, oh, get this guy's out of here. You got to break up with him. So hope that all makes sense. Not who you want to date your daughter. It's just who, like, give off a good first impression as a boyfriend, kind of. So kind of like these situations. Oh, hey, like we're meeting, Next up, we have an attract. So I texted Will. I'm going to start having people do some ratings. Some other people in the league do some ratings because it's fun. And I had Will. I said to him, "Hey, I want you to do a ranking for my next video." And he said, "Well, hey, send me pictures of everybody." And then he said, "I'm going to have my male employee, who's I think part of the LGBTQ community." And he's going to rank you all on attractiveness based on the pictures that I sent Will. So here we go. We have a guy, attractive rankings from Will's male coworker. Greg, number 1. Greg killing it in the eyes of the males these days, I guess. So, okay. Will, I mean, apparently this guy doesn't know Will. So apparently that's not weird. I mean, I think this list is messed up, if you ask me. Bobby, number 3. Logan, 4. Ash, 5. Alec, 6. Hunter, 7 with a fish. I mean, come on. You're not giving Hunter more than 7. Dylan in that great picture of him. Dylan's 8. Doug's 9. Connor's 10. I'm 11, and Sam's 12. I don't know Sam, but he's a good-looking fella. So anyway, this is what it is. I'm not buying it, but pretty interesting ranking, if you ask me. And that's it. Appreciate you guys for listening. Let's have a good week.